Welcome back to the channel. We're going over the Nasdaq 100, the SP 500, exactly what happened on the market today. I'm going to tell you what you need to know to be prepared for the market tomorrow and how you can make money trading in this market right now so you're not surprised. You have some news that came in, and I need to go over exactly what the Fed was saying today regarding this news. If you are not subscribed, I have to ask you to do or consider doing two things: liking and subscribing. Every day, I give you the news, I give you the data, I give you the key points to watch on the chart so you can trade it and be a successful day trader, hopefully getting these videos every day. Let's get back to the video and let's get to the chart. Now, before we get into any of this, I want to highlight what's happening here on the chart. I'm going to go really quickly, get rid of the indicators so you can just quickly see what is happening here. As we get in here, this is the 4-hour chart. Sometimes it helps to just take one step back and just look at a broad spectrum of what's happening. These are our key levels. What's happening here? So right now, you have a key level, 11.5 down to roughly 11.35. Key level around 11.85 all the way to basically, I would actually draw this a little bit further down to 11.75. Then from there, you have a higher range of 12.1 basically to 12.3. That's your range. Now, between there's some very big levels we have to talk about. And we're going to come really quickly to the 15-minute and show you. We've talked about the 12,000 on the Nasdaq and then also the 11.75 on the Nasdaq. Those are two crucial areas. When you get below 11.75, you are incredibly bearish. When you get above 12,000, you are very bullish. In between this range, this is typically where you struggle and you try to make a decision. But so far, what's happened in this range over the past few days, let's pull up the opens indicator so you can see daily. Purple line represents each daily open. So on the Nasdaq today, you struggled underneath 11.75 to 11.8 all day long, got rejected. And people keep commenting on videos and they're saying, quote unquote, this, plunge protection team. And I have to address some of the things being said here because I like to operate based on facts and where buyers are. I don't like to operate based on what we think is happening, some quote unquote hidden agenda with the market and things like that. I just go over what's happening with the price action and explain how I'm trading on it. I'll go over some of the trades I took today, but looking at this, you come up to this range, you get rejected, and you come right back down. And where are you bouncing? Right at the top of that zone, actually a little bit higher, but you still bounced right there at that monthly level, 11.5. That's why in Discord, I was letting everyone know. You can come back and we can see. This is why I was updating everyone right here at this level. You can open it up and see. Double bottom, started to bounce. If you're bouncing at that level of support, the variable of taking a trade has a greater chance of winning to the upside. Why? Because when you hit support, you always expect a bounce. Now, I know people are here and you're saying, Tyler, I thought we were bearish. I thought we expected more downside. I thought with this, I thought that. Look, ultimately, when we come to the market, I have a broad spectrum look and then I have a day trader look. My day job is day trading. So I'm going to trade in between zones and trade whatever the market gives us. That's why on Twitter, if you're going back here, look at some of the notifications. This guy right here, I just posted this randomly throughout the day, one of the trades we took in Discord. He got back into this trade. I was already up 100%. It ran another 89% on that trade. Completely random, isn't even subscribed, just on Twitter. Link is down below. But that's what's happening here. I'm just overall day trading. The broad spectrum of the market, though, what's happening? I've been talking about downside, downside, downside for the whole week, basically 2 weeks roughly. And are you moving to the downside? I'm just saying, grab a trend and look. You're trending to the downside. You're still trending there. You haven't broken up. You haven't been bullish. These are just really, this is the reality of what's happening. So you can say this is manipulation or crime. I don't really know what you guys are. You're kind of saying some crazy stuff. But look in here, I still anticipate a little bit more downside. But I need to talk about what was said on the market, some of the big stuff that's going on here. And in my opinion, this is very, very, very important. As we come in here, I want to mention exactly what Fed Waller was saying. And Fed Waller came out regarding PPI. PPI came out very bad today. I want to address that first and say it was bad. That was the initial drop that you had. But then Fed Waller came out here and said some pretty interesting statements. You can see it all here from Walter Bloomberg here on Twitter. Basically use a Bloomberg terminal and highlight some of the news as it comes out. Now, he highlighted the worst case scenario and some of the best case scenario. If you do not know, Fed Waller is one of the most hawkish, which is bearish on the economy overall Fed members, he typically says bad things about the economy. Fed Waller, to go above 75 BPIs at the next meeting, I would need to assess data over the next couple of weeks. He also addressed and kept saying that it's very unlikely. Market may have gotten ahead of themselves on a 100 BPS hike in May. Remember, we went over this yesterday. You were at almost 90%. What happened once he said these statements? What happened on the market? We come back. This number, it went from almost 90%. This number went from 10%. You went back down almost below 50%. What does that mean? Basically, the market is 50-50 right now, saying we don't know if we're going to get a 75 to 50 or 75 to 1 point. But it's looking less and less likely that they're going to put a 1 point hike, even though yesterday it was almost 100% likely that it was going to happen. And you can see with our Fed, it's changing daily. There's a mad amount of uncertainty. And again, uncertainty is the most bearish thing on the market. But what's happening here? How are we trading, etc.? What am I looking at? So going in here, in my opinion, you do look like you're trying to get some upside. But again, I'm going to tell you very clearly what I'm looking at. I am not bullish on the market unless what? It has not changed. Unless you are able to mount above the 12,000 region. As long as you're above 12,000, you look at the market in a bullish manner. Being below this level, you have to look at it for more downside. Being below 11.75, you look at it for a lot more downside. You're looking at it for a big overall plummet, and you're looking for a clean flush. But until you get above 12,000, in my opinion, you still are looking for that downside. Even though right now you're flagging, looking for more upside and trying to continue going. But again, what did I trade today? What was I looking at? Now today, looking at SPY, again, you had that really nasty dip. So again, I was telling you down yesterday, I expected downside. I did expect it. That's where I had to favor. And people keep saying you're not getting downside. However, again, what happened on SPY? You dropped from 379 all the way down to almost 371, 370. If that's not a dump, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what is. That is a dump. You got it. So what's happening here on SPY? Where are you trending at? How are you moving? What am I looking at going forward? Now, overall on SPY, you did come down to this level of support, and you've really just been trending in this overall range here. But if I'm looking here, I'm looking more at this range specifically down to these lows. You have to kind of target right here as well. And you've been coming down to this area a lot. You've seen a lot of retests, and you're bouncing when you come down to the 370 to 371, and you're getting that bounce now. Maximum upside, in my opinion, has got to be 385. I'm not saying you hit that level. What I'm looking at tomorrow is the possibility of 381.5 into possibly 382.8. Besides that, I'm not really going too far, not expecting massive movement. But I also expect you to go up and down, up and down. However, again, if you get below this monthly level of 376.6, I want to clarify, zooming in just a little bit. If you get below this level, your key level right here, if you start to move back towards the downside and get below this, I'm looking for a retest and a short down to 373 to 370. I'd be playing the market towards that downside. No, it's a Friday. Fridays tend to be a little bit slower, so play it by ear and make sure you're not over leveraging or going crazy into any positions. But that's specifically what I'm looking at here on SPY. Now, today for myself, what I was trading, what I was looking at, you had a few good opportunities. Jay Ream, he was trading GME this morning, was one of the better plays right here. Got in locally at about 355. His stop loss is $3. Those contracts got to $6. You ended up pumping, and then you eventually dropped. So those ran almost 80% roughly. After that, he got his out at $5. I got mine out close to $6, and then a little bit later at my last contract around $5. After that, he had an NVIDIA trade, got stopped out. That was it for him. For myself, today was a pretty good day for me and trades I was in. Made a few bucks on GME, Microsoft. This ran even more. I did not cut all those positions. I kept that in there, and SPY obviously as well. But the trades that we were looking at, Microsoft, what happened here? 170 entries. These positions got all the way to $3, almost doubling up there. SPY contracts, we all know this one, 170. These contracts got in the money from where they were right here, absolutely running. So you're having those opportunities and you're having those plays. You just have to be patient, specifically when it comes to day trading, because you're not trying to make 100% on every trade. Granted, you will occasionally do that, but your goal is to play the market with what it's giving you. So when you come to supports, what do? Do you short the support? No, that's not how I'm playing this. So if I'm coming down to this range, If I have puts, if I'm already betting on the short side, then yes, maybe I'll hold those a little bit longer, leave some runners. But I'm not looking to enter positions at this range. I'm not looking to bet for more downside when you get to that overall resistance level. No, that's not what you do. Just like when you get up to this range, you're not looking for calls. That's not what you're doing. If anything, you're looking for downside because you came back into that resistance. People, this is what you have to be looking for. So again, going into tomorrow, what am I looking at? Based on where you're at, I think you have to anticipate a little bit of downside. But what I will say, based on the charts and how you ended this day, you look like you want to be strong going into tomorrow. So out of the gates, I expect some downside based on this resistance where you're at. If you get above 11.85, you will most likely get a run to 12,000. So you break above 11.85, you're trading towards 12,000. You start breaking below 11.75, you're most likely trading back towards 11.5. That's just the overall trend. On SPY, clarifying once again, getting here, I'd clearly be watching the NQ for any of your indicators and what you'd be looking for. But if you start breaking up, you're looking for that test of 383, 382. If you start breaking down below that monthly level, the clear level, 376.5, you are looking for a test of 372 to 371. That's the trend, the end. Now, for some of these indicators I've been looking at, junk bonds, etc. Junk bonds, you started the day out really bad. And then once Fed Waller started saying those key statements, surprise, you bounced. You went straight back up. Looking at HYG, some of these bonds, what's happening here? You're bouncing right back up. The US 10-year yield. Again, you're still getting a little bit of downside. You're up on the day overall, but ultimately you're still trending down at these lows. So again, the possibility for some upside is still here. VIX, you're still at 26.4. I think you have more room down to 24, leaving you more possible room for more upside and the possibility of, yes, filling that gap for all you Sebastian guys out there. If you know what I mean and you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. But that's what I'd be looking at there, the possibility of some downside initially with some upside on indexes going into the beginning, middle of the day, and then we'll see how the day ends. But that's what I'd be looking at. But again, you're not trading anything until when? Until you break your level. So once again, I clarify for day trading, I am not looking to trade here. I'm not looking to get any calls here. You start breaking above this level, get a retest, boom. That's your entry. You start moving down, you break, you retest, boom. That's your entry. Be patient, people. When you're patient, I'm telling you, the trades, the setups are absolutely gorgeous. Before we hop out of here, I also want to show you on Bookmap. This was really interesting. And someone DM'd me on Twitter. I don't know who it was. They were talking about they downloaded Bookmap and they had some, overall issues, or they couldn't really set it up like mine was. What I do recommend is going to Discord or go to their website. And Bookmap does have their own Discord, and they will actually help you. They have seminars like almost every single day. I've done a seminar in there before, but they will actually help you every step of the way. Really great guy. Bruce is the guy that actually I'm always talking to. Super good team over there. But also DM me on Twitter. I will help you. I will try to give you any tips that I can possibly give you. Just make sure you just reach out there. But on Bookmap, what am I looking at? First, what I want to do is get rid of these stop losses. Now, looking here, CVD. This represents buyers versus sellers. So sometimes when we're looking at the chart, you're looking down here at the overall levels of the volume. And that's good to look at. But CVD gives you an overall viewpoint of how many sellers are in the market versus how many buyers in the overall strength. So even though sometimes you may not see crazy volume candles, if there's only buyers, your CVD will start moving in a very bullish direction. So you may be getting a very little bit of buying, very little of overall volume. But if there's only buyers in the market, then CVD tends to go up significantly. Today, your CVD went to 40,000 near the end of the day. Very, very strong, people. That's why I'm looking at this overall viewpoint. And that's why I was trading this to the upside today. Even though my long-term viewpoint is I still see more downside to come, but a day trader's perspective, and the reason why you're listening to the video is because what are you doing today? Now coming back in here to the overall icebergs, this is where things get interesting. Near the beginning of the day and even near some parts of the end, you were seeing a lot of selling. So as you zoom in here, This blue line right here represents that dark pool data. And when it's on the downside, you can see them selling those lots and getting shorter positions. And you saw a lot of these smaller positions coming in here. They weren't massive until really about the end of the day or mid part of the day, about 2 o'clock. You started seeing some of the bigger orders coming. You saw a few buys, but ultimately a lot of these icebergs towards the downside. That's why when I'm looking at this and you come back to this overall range, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, look, I don't want any positions going into tomorrow. I'm waiting for a clear break of the top level or the bottom level. And then I'm going to follow that trend, just like we followed it today. What did we do today? We traded that trend and how you reacted and how you respected this key overall level. And as you see, it paid off as you came back into that resistance area. So people, just keep it very simple. Again, don't chase. Wait for you to get the retest. Wait for those opportunities because, again, the opportunities are there. You just have to be a little bit patient. Don't try to take 7-10 trades a day. 1 to 2 trades is really all you need. I'm telling you, it's really been working and it's been helping us here every single day in the Discord. And it's probably been helping a lot of you guys. I've seen a lot of good overall responses regarding some of the videos lately, specifically on Twitter. I would love to conversate with you guys. Make sure you're subscribed on Twitter as well. Again, I'm giving free stuff there all day, every day, going over key things I'm looking at as well. Have a good one, traders.